Hi friends and readers, I promised you some good news today, so I'm going to deliver that. But before I do, I wanted to remind you that Presumptuous Hope is coming out on September 12th. It's the last book of the Daughters of the Gentry series, which takes place in Lincolnshire. And if you haven't read the first two, A Whimsical Notion and A Stroke of Good Fortune, I hope that you do. I really loved this series. I am sad to say goodbye to all the characters. I loved writing this last book. It's a forced proximity book, so if you like that, then you have to read it. And so on to the good news. I have signed with a publishing contract for a series, and I'm absolutely thrilled about it. I love this publisher, but I decided I'm not going to give you too much more information about it because they're not ready to announce me until next summer or so. So I'm going to wait until they are able to announce it. I do have permission to tell you about it, and I have permission to tell you about the series that I signed with them. So I'm going to do that just to get you all excited. I'm totally excited about it. But in terms of who the publisher is, I'm going to wait until they are ready to announce. So the series that I signed with them is, it's about the Grand Tour, the Grand Tour. For those who don't know historical quite as well, this is something that young gentlemen did mainly in the 18th century, because once the Napoleonic Wars took place, they couldn't really travel to the continent. But when it was still the 18th century and they were able to travel freely, they would leave England in the company of a tutor or somebody like a vicar or somebody like that, and they would complete their education by visiting Paris, Rome, Florence, Venice, Greece, you know, a lot of these places on the continent. And it was something that all wealthy young men did. And so my series is about the Grand Tour. So of course the Grand Tour, I don't know why it's easier to say in French than in English. Sorry about that. Mine is not about young gentlemen. My series is about a father who had no sons, and he's a scholar, and he decides to take his 3 daughters on the Grand Tour. So the first place he goes is to Spa in what is today Belgium, but back in the days it was the lower countries, the Netherlands. Or Austria, was it Austria? I actually have to check that. It was not Belgium though. And to prepare for that, my family and I went to Spa to see what it was like. And I got a ton of research material about it. I'm very excited. And so the first daughter, Amy, who never wanted to leave England, is going to discover what it's like to be overseas, and she's also going to discover an old friend of hers that she lost touch with, who is now living there. So that's what the first book is about. The second book takes place on my home turf. It's in Paris, and this is the second daughter, Hannah, who is a scholar like her father. And so she has always been eager to please him, and she's going to participate in the literary salons, and she's going to find somebody who's quite different from her, a French guy. So that's going to be her story. And then the third one takes place in Rome with Marianne, who is the youngest, and she is a passionate painter, and she's going to meet another passionate painter from Sicily, and the sparks will fly, because when you get 2 artists together, especially when there is a lot of passion in there, and you know, they're going to have their story. So I am very excited about the series. Very excited to have signed with this publisher. They're an amazing publisher. I feel very honored to work with them. And but because of so the first book is coming out summer of 2026, so not until almost 2 years from now, but I have to deliver the manuscript in January. Because of that, I have to push back my next in the Earl sisters series. So Only a Brilliant Match is out. the other books are going to have to wait until I can write them, and so they're going to be pushed back. And I have another multi-author project coming up too this spring, which is very exciting. So Presumptuous Hope is coming out. Then there's going to be kind of like nothing until next May, when there will be the multi-author project, and then the second in the Earl Sisters is coming out in the fall. So that is my publishing schedule. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. Thank you for following along.